I just walked into a
Coming to you from Rochester, Minnesota,
so perfect, but we never had my
our town.
stay on the good side of the road.
We're approaching the end of January, which means in a normal year, we'd be right on the cusp of social ice, something that I intended every year. And unfortunately, 2021 isn't looking like a normal year, but there is still an event to look forward to. With us today is Monika Kopet with the Rochester Downtown Alliance to discuss Improv Ice. That's the new name for it. Welcome, Monika.
Thank you so much.
Let's talk about Improv Ice. Can you share more about it and how it is similar or different than social ice?
Yes. So, prior to COVID, we were able to have a DJ, we were able to have a stage, ice bars, lots of long lines and people close to crowded together. We obviously can't do that this year. So we are having a very beautiful, lit up, recorded music sculpture experience, kind of a walkthrough experience you can experience anytime you want, day or night. Music and lights will start at about right before sunset and they will turn off at 10 o'clock. So experience it anytime, but that's when you'll get the full experience during that time. We're going to have a 10 block community sculpture that was designed by a local artist, which is really exciting. Together letters that are currently at Broadway are going to be moved to the plaza for a photo op. And we're going to have a lot of other cool sculptures. And then we're going to have the ice wall curtain, which is one of my favorite parts of it.
Now, is the downtown businesses involved like they have been in the past for these, where I think maybe did they sponsor them before? Is that the same kind of concept or is it different this year?
We do have partnerships with some downtown businesses. We've worked really closely with downtown bars. It's a big investment of time, staff, and financial resources. And I think that was a little daunting for some of our bars with everything going on. Restrictions just changed again. So they're getting really excited about being able to be open at 50% capacity again. So it just looks totally different this year. 2022, we want to get back to it. We want to really add some new elements. It's going to be happening during the 2022 Winter Olympics. That's going to be really exciting. So we're trying to give them a little break this year and kind of let them focus on their bar and restaurants.
Yeah, that totally makes sense. What events are being hosted with Improv Ice this year?
Do you mean within our event or just other things going on?
Are there other, right, there typically have been some other events that are integrated into it as well. Is that happening or is it specific for what you've mentioned?
We're just doing the walkthrough ice experience. We thought about bringing curling in the alley back. We wanted to really focus on keeping those people from the Rochester Curling Club safe, the attendees safe, and we just couldn't figure out a way to keep everyone distance with that kind of activity. So anything we looked at, maybe it was possible, but we are really big on safety and we want to keep our community safe until everyone can get a vaccination. So not really doing anything like that. I know a lot of our bars, restaurants, and shops downtown are doing activities during the week that we're having our walkthrough experience. We're planning to have listed online a lot of those activities so people can take a look at that, and it's almost a calendar of things you can do that whole week.
Okay, that makes sense. And then where does this start, the walkthrough? Is it in the same location?
So this is going to be located in the west side of the Peace Plaza. It's going to be open to the public on Thursday, February 4th for the first time for viewing. But if you want to go down there and see them actually sculpting, which is really exciting and fun to watch, they're going to start that on Tuesday, February 2nd. They'll be sculpting pretty much all day. The same thing Wednesday, the 3rd. So if you want to see them in action carving, it's pretty exciting.
How's the weather looking? I haven't looked at the calendar yet, or the weather calendar.
It's looking okay. I've been watching it really close. We want below freezing temperatures. It looks like we're right on the border for the first couple of days while they're sculpting. And then during the event, it looks like it's going to be below freezing. So crossing my fingers, but I would like to get I would like to get even more of a cold snap. So yeah.
That'd be good. Can anybody participate from home? Do you have a virtual delivery for it too?
I don't know if we're going to do anything like that. I know we are going to do some live videos, Facebook Lives, things like that. So you can see the carvers sculpting while they're doing it. Probably be down there ourselves as staff, kind of letting you know what's going on. But I don't think we have an actual virtual event experience for this event. So.
And where can people find out information?
On our website. What I was going to say is, we really want people to come down and experience this, but we really want to support our local downtown businesses too. So we're really encouraging people to go shop a little bit before or after. We're doing the charity aspect of this, the buy a meal, give a meal to support our local restaurants too. So if you don't feel comfortable eating in yet, order takeout, get a gift card. We're trying to support all of these businesses downtown that have really been struggling in 2020 and are still struggling. So
That's really good info. Thank you so much, Monika. We appreciate having you on the show.
thank you so much.
And I'll see you down there.
Yes.
Our Town is brought to you in part by the following amazing people and organizations:
the Minnesota Arts and Cultural Heritage Fund, and the citizens of Minnesota.
and the members of KSMQ Public Television. Thank you.
Be sure to stick around. We have much more coming your way on Our Town. Amarachi Orakwue chats with George Thompson about how he came to Rochester in a time when very few Black families lived here. We check in with the Rev Andre Crockett to discuss his new position as a community liaison, and we meet Robin Holzel to talk about cookies. That's right, cookies. But up first, we meet Kim Sen, whose family fled from Cambodia and fought to come to the US in this week's Our Culture segment.
Hi, my name is Kim Sen. I'm from Cambodia. I came to the US in 1983. An advocate working within the Cambodian community for 20 years. The journey, coming from a war-torn country like Cambodia, and not a lot of people really knew about Pol Pot and the killing that was going on. Pol Pot was able to overthrow the Cambodian government and took power during that time. And so it cost a lot of Cambodians to flee and to try to escape to Thailand. In the refugee camp, we had, my mom and dad, and then I have 4 brothers, and then 2 sisters and myself. They had, school for people to go. People were living in small huts. And so it's very crowded. A lot of people got sick, and some are, die of the disease because they weren't very clean. The sanitation was really bad. The United Nations would bring all these food, and then they would distribute it to each family. So if you had a larger family, you get a larger quantity of food. And my mom had to really make sure that the way she cooked and feed the kid was able to feed the whole month, or else if she was cooking too much, then it would cause her to be, shortage. We had to travel from one refugee camp to another. From Tawadang, we had to go to Chunburi. After Chunburi, we stayed there for 6 months, and then we go to Kachung. After Kachung, then we went to the Philippines. And so in the Philippines, that's where they done a lot of quarantine for a lot of refugees that were coming from Laos, Hmong, Vietnam, and it's not easy. And a lot of parents would sacrifice and do so much for their kid, in order for them to come to another country that provide opportunity. Especially my mom and my dad want us to come to the U.S. It was a lot of people talk about, the U.S. is like a paradise. It's like heaven. So many opportunity. And so finally we passed all the tests. Our family didn't have any, medical record, any issues. So we were given a visa to come to the U.S. To make things short is that when we don't really understand about each other, that's what create that stigma and hatred, is that people really need to understand that we all came here for the same reason. This country was based on immigration. People came here because of religious, or they were being persecuted by the government. And it's the same reason for a lot of refugee and immigrant. And so we all need to understand their struggle, their needs. And if we all really focus on the need, then everybody will understand and appreciate one another. Thank you so much for this opportunity, and I really appreciate it.
For more information about this story and other Our Town features, connect with us on Facebook, Twitter at KSMQ #OurTown, or ksmq.org/OurTown.
Hello, I'm Danielle Teal with Amarachi Orakwue, your moderators for Our Town, the show about Rochester, with a brand new segment called Our Spotlight for KSMQ Public Television. We'd like to thank 125 Live for hosting. We have a fabulous guest on our show today, Robin Helsley from Shuga Cookies. That could be a tongue twister. It's so great. Robin, we're excited to have you on the show, and I hear you like cookies, so tell me more about that.
Yes, I love cookies. So I decorate sugar cookies very elaborately for any type of occasion that you can think of, for whatever reason or no reason.
Well, we're going to make sure that we share some photos of your cookies, because I want to know what elaborate looks like, and I bet it looks good. Oh my goodness. Amarachi, I hear you got a few questions for her.
Yes, well, could you tell us when you started and where can we find these cookies?
Sure. So I started a few years, well, I've been decorating cookies since I was a little kid. And a few years ago, work was stressful, and I found I had a hobby for decorating cookies and making them elaborate and over the top. And I would start just to give them away to anyone who would take cookies from me. And it got to the point where people started saying, do you sell these? And where can I buy these? And so that's where Shuga Cookies came from. And so you can go to Instagram to Shuga Cookies, or to Facebook at Shuga Cookies, and see what I've got and purchase them. I do pre-sales or custom orders.
Nice. And has the pandemic affected your business?
At first, it slightly did. So after Valentine's or any holiday, there's a lot of orders. I do small pre-sales where you can buy just a couple cookies at a time if you want to for holidays. So after Valentine's Day and when things kind of hit hard, I stopped selling them just because I wasn't sure what would happen and if it was safe to. But the University of Minnesota states that you can't really get COVID transmitted through food. So about April, I started selling again, and it actually has been a great business. I haven't had any slowdown once I started doing cookies again.
Nice, I'm glad to hear that. And how can the community support your business?
Just go on my Instagram page and like my page and share with others. And if you want to give the cookies a try, I have a cookie of the month. I always have vanilla, almond, and chocolate, but I also do a cookie of the month. So February's is cookies and cream. So new flavors every month, new styles every month.
Nice. So that'd definitely be a great year for me to spend this pandemic eating all those cookies.
Yeah.
And thank you for your service and for being a guest on the show. Thanks for tuning in to Our Town Spotlight. This is Danielle Teal and Amarachi Orakwue, your moderators with KSMQ Public Television. Huge thanks to 125 Live for hosting. And you can also catch up with us on Facebook or Twitter at KSMQ Our Town.
Spark Children's Museum is bringing back free First Sundays. Once a month, Sparks opens the museum to the community. Starting on February 7th, bring your children to Spark for free. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, the number of visitors will be limited. This is the first come, first served basis. Anyone over the age of 5 has to wear a mask. For more information about the event and their upcoming schedule, check out Spark's Facebook page or their website at sparkrochestermn.org. Rochester Civic Theater is presenting Romantic Fools by Rich Orloff. Romantic Fools explores love, lust, dating, and romance from a date with a caveman to surprise frustrations of having a perfect date. With influences of Monty Python, Saturday Night Live, Julie Pfeiffer, the Marx Brothers, and classic vaudeville comedy, these sketches are very in style. All celebrate the inherent comedy of relationships. The show will be streaming online from February 12th to February 14th. Tickets are available for purchase on Rochester Civic Theater website, rochestercivictheater.org/romanticfools. The Rochester Art Center is presenting the 2021 Sweet Art pop-up sale. During the entire month of February, enjoy 10% off of Valentine's Day items, including kids cross-stitch kits, do-it-yourself card kits, and artisan Valentine's Day cards. Also during the pop-up sale in February, you'll get a free do-it-yourself postcard kit with any purchase of $5 or greater. Mardi Gras mask kits are also available for purchase from February 1st to the 14th to help you get ready for Fat Tuesday. The gallery is open Wednesday through Sunday from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can also check out the shop on Rochester Art Center website at rochesterartcenter.org. Coming up next, Amarachi chats with George Thompson about his family's experience in Rochester in this week's Walkabout segment.
Hello, this is Amarachi Orakwue with Our Town Walkabout, here with Mr. George Thompson. And I've had the pleasure of working with him in Toastmasters during my time in undergrad, so I'm really excited to meet with him today. How are you, Mr. George Thompson?
I'm doing absolutely great.
I'd like to start off with, can you tell us a bit about yourself?
I came here to IBM in 1968, same year that Martin Luther King was assassinated. Well, I was graduating from Washington University in St. Louis, and I walked through a cafeteria, and there were people who were looking to interview people for positions. And one of them had a black gentleman named Earl McGee. And Earl McGee, I walked up to him and I said, "Do you have any need for industrial engineers?" And he said, "No, we need electricals, but I'll take your application." A week later, I got a letter. Came to IBM and worked there for 28 years.
You and your family were one of the first Black families in Rochester.
When we came to Rochester, I had Daryl, who was 9 months old, and I didn't see another Black person other than my family for 2 weeks. And when I saw this guy, we kind of came together like people do in a field, like, oh my God. At any rate, and that started it off. But we did a number of things together. He and I organized some things to try to make it more appealing for Black people in the community.
You've been very active in our community, especially in the Diversity Council with the Toastmasters, and you've definitely brought us together in this community. So thank you for that.
Well, thank you. I have to admit that I'm basically a very introverted person, but sometimes you have to do and step up.
Thank you, Mr. Thompson, for being on here today. This has been Our Town Walkabout with Amarachi Orakwue.
Sleeping on my own tonight, 'cause it's all that's left to do. At least it's finally something new.
Following the murder of George Floyd last May, protests calling for reform have been almost constant around the United States. With us today is Rev Andre Crockett to discuss how our community is coming together to fight for racial justice and for Black lives. Welcome, Andre.
Welcome. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Well, it is an honor to have you on the show. Full disclosure, I do know Andre. We've done some work in the past collaboratively with his important work in the community, and I'm just so grateful for that work. So thank you for being here.
You're welcome.
All right, can you describe what I've alluded to a little bit about the work that you've been championing in the community thus far?
Yeah, so as you as well, you'll well know everything that's been happening since George Floyd and everything like that. And basically what I wanted to do is make sure that our community did not run into some of the issues that happened up in Minneapolis and across the country. And so I wanted to create a community liaison position that can work between the police officers and the Black community.
And that is important work. And some of your previous work has helped inform kind of the strategy. Your background includes the Sports Mentorship Academy and Barbershop and Social Services. Can you give a little bit about that background? And then we're going to dive into what that community liaison work does.
Yes, just a little bit about that background. I started Sportsmanship Academy in 2008 for almost the same exact reason, because many of the kids that I've been working with had run in with the police officers, and now that group of kids are now adults, and they still having some of those same problems. And I wanted to extend and do barbershop and social services because I was only working with, adolescents and young teenagers. And so I wanted to make sure now that I'll be able to engage now their uncles and their fathers
And so, what brought up this idea of connecting the dots to the Rochester Police Department? How did that relationship start for you, and then this community liaison position began?
Yeah, I think that rapport and that relationship started on Barbershop Talk.
Okay, that's cool.
Having them come on and talk about some of the issues what they face internally within the police department, and some of the issues that we face within in the community. And I realized that the police department nor the Black community was going to be intentionally come together. They wasn't going to do it about somebody being the bridge, someone bringing them together. And so I realized that I had to find someone in the community, and we're using Bud Whitehorn to be our community liaison, that he has a reputation with the police officer's reputation in the community of doing community work, and that he can bring both of them together.
And do you feel like you have support or already, or do you feel you're gonna have to build that support as you go and go from there?
I think we're gonna have to build that support. I mean, you're looking at this history. This goes
Mhm.
way back, to slavery days, and the tension is there. The tension is there, but I'm excited that the community want change. The police department want change. So I think that now is the time.
Yeah, you are not one to shy away from the hard work at all. So, thank you for sharing that perspective. How has the Rochester Police Department addressed the community outreach component so far, and what are going to be the next steps?
How they addressed it so far? I mean, they've been doing, I think like the PALS program around Christmas holidays, but they haven't never been intentional.
Hmm.
Until now. We want to make sure to be intentionality in this thing. And what I mean by that, oftentimes that the police officers, they police our communities, but they don't know our communities. And so working alongside with a community liaison will give them an opportunity to really, really know and get a grasp of who they policing.
What will the day in the life of the community liaison position look like? What is it going to look like? Are they going to ride along? Are they going to have an office at the Rochester Police Department?
Right now, we're still in the early stage of trying to figure that out. We got to figure all the logistics and everything like that. But believe it or not, that he's going to work across the spectrum. What I mean by that, not just going to work with the police department. He's going to work with like workforce center. We're going to try to get him to work with the school district, work with probation, because we realize that we got to be proactive also. So that means that some of these guys that coming out of jail had to be prepared when they come out of jail, so they won't have the encounter and running with the police officers. So we want to make sure that he's a community liaison. So he's going to do more than just work with the police officers. He's going to make sure they have employment and everything like that. So his first task and his first duties is to be able to just build those relationships, just to have those talks, get them all in one place, so they can start building meaningful relationships.
And will there be some sort of community forums or some way that individuals or groups can connect with the community liaison and RPD?
Yeah, so he's already, the community liaison, when he start February 1st, he's already hitting the ground. He's already started some preliminary work already in the early stage of that, talking to organizations already, getting the organization heads together and talking about and some of the concerns that they had with the police department. And then he will bring back that collective data to the police office so they can make necessary changes on how to interact and engage the community.
And how can the community come together to support the work?
How they can come together to support the work. Yes, I'm glad you asked that. It takes money. It takes money and take finance to make it happen. Right now, we had a generous gift from Mayo Clinic, Midwest Bank, the police department themselves. They just didn't want to. They wanted to invest. They wanted to put their money where their mouth is at, and so that was the great thing. But we're still in the midst of trying to raise $35,000 so we can get this individual full time. So right now, we're halfway there. So right now he's only going to be working around 15 hours or 20 hours part-time.
That's perfect. And is there a place that people can go to find out more information, or is it still in the works?
It's still in the works. It's still in the works. And so hopefully, in the next week or two that we can get some of the information probably be posted on our website. And so hopefully we'll have it posted on the city website as well.
Any parting words of encouragement and perspective related to this?
Yes, change is coming. A change is coming, and I wouldn't want to be anywhere place except for Rochester, because we're on the cutting edge of really seeing racial tension decrease because of this position.
Awesome, it's great work. Thank you so much, Reverend Crockett.
Oh, you're welcome.
Thank you for joining us today. For more wonderful content produced right here in Rochester, please be sure to check us out on Facebook and Twitter at #OurTown. Be well and be safe. We'll see you next time on Our Town, the show about Rochester.
Try to flow into the sea.